G'day, Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Series, and I hate to say this, but welcome to another part of what is the engine drama saga that seems to be continuing with the Land Rover Series 3. In the following episode, I'm going to outline the developments up to this point, what am I going to do from this point forward, and if we're going to have a bonfire, well, I'll invite you along too. So if you want to find out this and more, as always, you know exactly what to do. Click on that subscribe button down below, click on that notification button too, but most importantly, stay tuned. So I certainly didn't think I would be doing another video on this subject, and I do apologise if you guys and girls are getting a little bit sick of this, but hopefully this is the last. As many of you know, myself, Damon and the Series 3 along with the number 5 trailer and our good friends at Sidetrack Australia travelled via the Holland track to get to the Perth 4-wheel drive show. And for those of you who came along, thank you very much for coming down. It was a good fun show, and yeah, it was good to catch up with a lot of people and people that we hadn't seen in a couple of years. So good fun all round. But travelling to the show and travelling back from the show, the Series 3 developed some problems, and problems which I've discussed in great length in previous videos. It started chewing oil, and a lot of it. In 533 kilometres from Perth to Kalgoorlie, it went through 14 litres of oil. That's a lot. Yeah, so I was frustrated, to put it very mildly, at my wit's end, I would say, and pretty much now I'm at a point of, I guess, despair. I just don't know what it is. And I know many of you are probably saying, it's the rings, it's the rings, it's the rings. Well, I'm going to do a compression test and we'll find out, but I really don't think it is, because even though it is a large volume of oil, it is 533 kilometres, which is 310 miles. You know, that's a reasonable distance for a vehicle of this nature. So to burn through that much fuel, oil, I don't know, maybe it is plausible. But coming up through the Perth Hills, it was running like a dream. Had the trailer on the back, the number 5 trailer, which had a little load in it, not much, but it certainly wasn't slowing it up by any means. But coming up the hill and then going down the other side, and I guess on the overrun, you let your foot off the accelerator, and in doing that, it started developing a habit of releasing all this blue smoke out of the exhaust, which indicates that it's burning oil. And typically, on the overrun, when that occurs, that's generally a pretty good indicator that, from what I've read and from past experiences, that indicates that the valve guide seals are gone. So the valves did, I felt, start sticking after about 300 kilometres. I know many of you are probably saying, why didn't you get it put on a tow truck or something like that? Well, you know, it's you just can't do that. I don't have the money to spend a good couple of $1,000 getting this towed back to Kalgoorlie. So I just did what I could to get back here. So anyway, it looks like it's the valve guides. The other thing is I had so many problems with the SU carburetor, which I've talked about previously, that I ended up actually taking it off. And I put the Zenith carburetor back on it. Now, the other thing that I've done is I've contacted Turner Engineering. I've also contacted, I think it's Glencoe Land Rovers, which a good friend of mine, Adam, suggested in the UK to contact. And basically Turner Engineering has come back and they've said, does it have an emission control unit on it? Which it does for the Zenith. It's got like a diaphragm in there. And they were saying if there's a small hole in that diaphragm, that can actually inadvertently cause it to draw oil through to go into the inlet manifold due to the vacuum caused, particularly on the, I think, on the overrun. So I'm going to disconnect that and see if that makes any difference. But if it isn't the valve guides, or more importantly, if it does have compression and it isn't the valve guides and it isn't the emission control unit, then, you know, I don't know what else it could be. I really don't want to have to strip the engine down. I really don't want to send it back to the, you know, the company that's rebuilt it now twice. Because if I send it back to them, I know I'm not going to get it back within probably 12 months. And they could quite happily tell me to jog on too. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting times. It's frustrating because I've put so much work into this car. Like, to get to the Perth 4-wheel drive show, I spent 6 weeks solid every day working on this car. That's why YouTube has obviously been lacking a bit of our content and input, because I've just spent so much time amongst everything else trying to get this working properly. And I was just hoping and praying that the trip down to the Perth 4-wheel drive show would go okay. Wasn't expecting anything too flash. I'd come back, there might be the odd oil leak or two, which is fine after doing 2,000 Ks. But I certainly didn't expect that I would be back in this predicament again, because I really just want to have this done so I can enjoy it and enjoy it with you guys and girls and do some proper adventures and videos for it. So, yeah, anyway, I'll stop rambling on. I know a lot of you don't like that and you just want me to get straight to the point, but I think it's important to present the facts. And the fact is, yeah, this isn't a good situation. So I hope that the next video that comes your way is a bit more uplifting and obviously a bit more inspirational than this. But, you know, you've got to show who we are, warts and all, I believe, the good times and the bad. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you all very much for your support, particularly with the previous videos and all the comments and suggestions that you've put down. And yes, we do read them, and yes, we do try and reply to them as quickly and as promptly as we can. And big thank you to all our supporters via Patreon for sticking by us and sticking by the Series 3, and those of you who've supported us via PayPal too. But look, as always, if you're new to the channel, then please click on the subscribe button down below. Please click on the notification button too. And if you thought this video was half bad, pretty tolerable, might watch it again on a rainy day, give us a thumbs up. And more importantly, if you like what we're doing here, please do support us via Patreon. All the proceeds partially go to this and a heck of a lot more. But anyway, I hope to see you in our next video. Anyway, catch you then.